So, I'm a female, 25 years old, and I just got back from out of the country, and I found out some insane news. My best friend, who's 25 also, just married my father. When I came home after a year of working overseas, I was expecting a warm welcome from my family, but instead, I found out something that was so shocking and disgusting. My dad married my best friend, who's 25 years old, and they were claiming that they were in love. But I knew that she was lying and she didn't love him. But I knew that it was partly my fault. Nina and I have been inseparable since high school. Our bond was so strong that we applied to the same colleges and attended them together. We did not have the best upbringing, with me having parents who split up and her being orphaned and living with foster parents. We planned to travel abroad for at least a year after we settled down in our jobs. The opportunity came in an overseas internship that would mean loads of traveling. We wrote a test for it, and interviews, and finally had to do a project which would determine whether we got in or not. Nina gave me her project to submit with mine because she had an emergency to take care of that day. I had a lot of files with me, and because of my absent-mindedness, I was so confused that I gave the recruiter only one folder without realizing that I left behind Nina's. By the time I realized it and tried to submit the correct one, the recruiter had already left and the submission window was closed. I felt absolutely terrible about it, and the first thing I wanted to do was tell her what I did. There was no secrets between us, and we always forgave each other no matter what. Unfortunately, when I saw her, she already brought up a cake for us to celebrate submitting and was super excited. It ate me up inside for days, and I thought of bringing it up every time I saw her, but I could not. I wanted to withdraw my submission, but the company said that they could not accept withdrawals yet, but when they were done accessing us, we would get an offer and it would be my choice to decline. The day I did not want to come came, and to my horror, she was at my house when the letter of acceptance came. She rushed over to her apartment to check, but the letter of rejection came. She could not believe that she's been rejected while I was accepted and started calling the company to get more info. They told her that she never submitted her final portfolio. I immediately confessed, but she was so upset with me that she refused to talk to me for days. I told my mom what I did and said that I was considering declining the offer and reapplying with her another time, but my mom said that I should not make a rash decision. I got a random message from her in the middle of the night, telling me that I should go and at least get to live our dream and send her postcards. So I decided to take the opportunity. My parents split up when I was still in middle school, but I've always lived with my mom. My mom did not remarry, but my dad had a long-term girlfriend, but I barely saw him since he was always busy with business. He was also very rich, but believed it not to spoil children, so that was not even a benefit for me. Either way, I went for a year of work and travel overseas, and it was the best year ever. Gradually, my friendship with her improved, and I sent her postcards and she had requested them. We also celebrated her wins when she got promotions. Nina knew my dad, but not so well. We've gone over to his place together a few times when I was visiting. Now, how she managed to get him to dump his girlfriend and make him fall in love with her is something that still amazes me. The worst part was that no one told me about the whole thing. My mother did not know how to tell me and figured that she could tell me as soon as I returned home, because she did not want me to be upset and stop enjoying my trip at work. Already, after she told me that she moved in with her boyfriend, I did not take it so well. My dad told me that he got married, but when I asked for pictures, he would make excuses and say that they were still being edited. At least I see how now it hurts the people you trust to lie to you. I cannot make myself out to be the saint here. I should have told her what happened as soon as it did. But I kept it from her and it ate away at our friendship, but at least it showed me a side of her that I never knew existed. Maybe she was the one waiting to backstab me if I did not do it first. This brings me to the day that I came back home. She was supposed to be waiting for me at the airport, but when I saw that she was with my dad, I ran to hug both of them and joke that they wanted to kill me with happiness. Little did they know that they were intending to kill me with a surprise. She was quieter than usual on the drive to my dad's house. I asked why we're not going to her place since we were supposed to be going out for a girls' night out. My dad, who had been unable to look me in the eyes since I saw him, revealed that they were married. Of course, I thought it was a joke and asked him to be serious, but he showed me a picture of their wedding. There was an entire wedding album, and my relatives from his side were all there. I was so angry and in so much shock that I did not even feel myself opening the window and tossing the phone out. They tried to tell me to calm down, but I told her to keep driving and get me to my dad's place before she was the next thing to fly through that window. For the rest of the drive, I let all of my anger out at both of them. She kept on apologizing and saying that she loved him while he claimed the same, but I call bullcrap. My dad loved his previous girlfriend, but he did not marry her, so how could he just marry Nina out of the blue? You best believe that as soon as the car pulled into the driveway, I was pulling her out of the car by the hair. We had a minor scuffle before my dad angrily pulled me away and told me that I was acting like a street cat. Of course, I was. My best friend was now my stepmom. My dad tried to explain, but I was not interested and instead called an Uber to get me the hell away from their joke of a marriage. Once I calmed down a bit, I asked my dad how they ended up dating, and he seemed to give me a credible story, and he said that he hoped we could fix things. He asked me why I was acting like I was so innocent since I went overseas in her place. This was when it clicked that all this was an act of revenge because of the job. Unfortunately, I had to go back to their place because all my stuff was there and I did not have any place to stay since my mom lived in another state. You best believe I did not take it lying down when it came to her, and neither did she back down. Once my dad was gone and it was just us two, she dropped the fake niceness and told me to get used to having her in my life. She said that she was living the dream of being my father's wife, and if I misbehaved, she would get me thrown out and removed from the will. I wanted to wring her little neck for the audacity she had. I told her that our friendship was over and she was now my biggest enemy. Things did not improve the longer I stayed there. I tried to talk to his side of the family and convinced him that she was using him for money, but they told me that she was the sweetest person ever. I could have left it alone and moved back with my mother, but I could not, knowing that she was spending my dad's money like a crazy person. It was sickening to watch her walk around the house like she's some sort of goddess. She took over everything, and when I had plans with my dad, she would make sure that she made something up, so that instead of me, he would be with her. At the time, I was searching for another job after my money ran out, and my dad was supposed to be helping me with money. So when I asked, he told me to go and ask her for money. She told me that she only wanted me to call her stepmom. Yeah, right. I refused and told her I would do so over my dead body. I was so upset that I told her that she had failed in life, so the next thing she wanted to do was try to steal mine. She suddenly burst into tears and told me that I was hurting her. My father came to ask what's going on. Then she dropped a bombshell on us. She said that she was planning on telling us at a better time. She was pregnant. She said that I said mean stuff on her, which is why she was crying, because she thought I was never going to accept her. I told her to quit lying. She was not pregnant. She was just faking it like she faked everything in her life. My dad suddenly told me to pack everything and leave. Until then, he has been trying to get me to come around while keeping the peace between Nina and me. But he was so angry with me and said that I was going to be a danger to his new baby. He also told me that I was off the will and our relationship was done. So I packed my bags while she watched over me to make sure I didn't steal anything. So I wish my mother was there because she would have defended me against the liar that's my friend. I took my stuff and left to go stay at a hotel. I got another job and tried to move on with my life, even though I felt like she was lying about the pregnancy to secure her place in my father's life. This was her revenge from the mistake I made, but I was taking it too far. I had to go to my dad's place one day because I realized I left some important documents there. Unfortunately, she was there and again we ended up arguing. She would check up on me and walk past the room making snide comments like how now she would have to deep clean the room and check if I did not steal anything. I told her that soon my dad would realize what a useless person she was and dump her, and there was no proof that she was even carrying his child. She got very defensive and said that she felt I was a danger to her and wanted to get a restraining order. I told her that maybe it was my dad who needed protection from her. She slapped me when I said that, and I pushed her away from me. The next thing I knew, she was going down and she landed on her side with her leg at a weird angle. I ran to help her up, but she was screaming for me to get away. That's when I saw it. Blood. I ignored her insults and picked her up and set her on the bed. I called my dad and the ambulance immediately and they picked her up. I was anxious and feeling terrible about what happened and hoped that she was not too hurt. Well, she lost the baby, and I was the one to blame. My father said things to me that I never thought he would say, and he told me to stay away from his happiness. She said that he wanted to lay a criminal charge against me for the attack, resulting in injury, and my dad was backing her up. Not to mention, the family members who were on my case and calling me names as if it made everything better. I knew I was not wanted, but I could not live with my guilt, so I tried to come to the hospital when no one was there and just sat in the waiting room. I knew she did not want to see me and would not let me in, but I guess I was just hoping for some courage so I would apologize to her. It was during that time I saw Jason, her ex, visit her at the hospital, which was strange because I thought they've broken up. He stayed with her all day and even brought some gifts. When he was leaving, I cornered him in the parking lot and asked him what the hell's going on. He told me that she did not want him to be a part of his baby's life, and now the baby's no longer alive. I asked him if he knew that my dad was the baby's father, but he said that there's no way. She told him that he was the father. He did not even know that she was married since she kept her life private and avoided him, but he just found out because she texted him. She was clearly running a sneaky operation, but now was her time to get caught. Jason was very upset and wanted to confront her, but I told him to tell my father instead, though I wished to be there when the meeting happened. I decided to remove myself from the situation as I should have done ages ago. When my dad messaged me later on asking to talk, I told him that I was respecting his wishes and staying away. I was not going to make it easy for him to crawl back into my life after the way he treated me and the things he said. For days, he harassed me non-stop, but I ignored him and told him just to leave me alone. I knew that he had kicked Nina out of his house because she had messaged me threatening to unleash hell on me for exposing her, but I blocked her. After I felt that he'd sweated it out, I told him that I could meet with him. He told me that he wanted to divorce her but could not because he did not sign a prenup, which I expected. He also apologized countless times, but I told him that if he ever dated any of my friends again, he would lose me forever. He wanted to temporarily have power of attorney over his more lucrative investments and assets for a while, as he went through divorce, so he would not have to pay her 50% of his money. I agreed, but under the condition that I would be named the sole heir on his will, and he would never change it again, and to add someone else or remove me. He agreed immediately, and we did the paperwork. The divorce was a bit messy, but I was by my father's side the whole time. We bonded during that difficult time, and were able to start mending the relationship that we messed up. She got some money in the settlement, and they were officially divorced. But she wanted more and accused me of conspiring against her with my dad. I told her that I learned from her the best. And if she tried to mess with my family again, then I would go after her with all I had. She has since left town, and I've not talked to her ever since. Sometimes I think about what a good friendship we had. That got ruined by silly things, but there's nothing I can do to fix it now. And I don't think I can trust her ever again. Honestly, the biggest red flag here, I don't understand how OP's father did not see or understand that Nina was just using him. I mean, there were so many red flags, and the fact that Nina would do this to her best friend just because she did not get accepted into some prestigious award or whatever it was, I think it's ridiculous how she would do that. Backstabbing and completely uncalled for, and I'm glad Nina got what she deserved at the end. Luckily, OP's father did not lose everything in the divorce, but it was a stupid move on his part to even go into that relationship knowing it was going to hurt his daughter. Guys, please tell me what you think about this story in the comment section down below. There's still one more story that we're going to look at today. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for changing the way my mother-in-law looks in my wedding photos? Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, as we do this every day, and let's get right to it. This happened at my wedding. I'm very detail-oriented and planned our wedding with my husband very meticulously. Everything was color-coordinated and everything was aesthetic. Our colors were pink and black. I wanted parents and grandparents to also wear our wedding colors, so the wedding photos would be cohesive. I specifically spoke with each person and told them the color scheme and how I would very much like everyone to color coordinate. Nobody had an issue with this, so I thought. Both sets of husbands' grandparents went out shopping to find clothes to explicitly match our wedding party. I thought that was so cute and appreciated it immensely. My mom and I went shopping for my grandparents because they asked us to, so they were also matching. I offered to take my mother-in-law shopping to pick out something to wear, but she declined and said she would go with her friends. I said okay and kinda forgot about it. The night of the rehearsal, my mom asked my mother-in-law what she's wearing, and she responds with a long dress in the wedding colors. Next day, I'm getting ready in the bridal suit, and my mother-in-law moseys on up and she's wearing a royal purple ball gown. She doesn't wear makeup that often, and I was shocked to see she was wearing neon blue eyeshadow and bright pink lipstick. Her husband wore a matching tie. I was livid, but I ignored it because I did not want to ruin my big day. My father-in-law asked me how he looked during pictures, and I responded, quote, "Ugh, you and mother-in-law stick out like big sore purple thumbs." He asked what that was supposed to mean, and I told him that they knew the dress code. Now they look out of place. He said he wore was given to him and would relay the message to my mother-in-law. Well, my mother-in-law approached me later in the night and asked me what my issue was. I asked her why she lied about her outfit choice, and she said she never bought a dress that would go with our wedding colors and planned on wearing the purple dress she found. It was more true to her, and that's what mattered. I said that's fine. I'll fix the pictures in post-production. She said I would not adjust anything. They paid for the pictures and I would not alter anything. I said any pictures I post with her in it will be altered on my end, so they have no control what I do. I excused myself and enjoyed the rest of my wedding. My mother-in-law has a habit of trying to make things about her and make little comments like, quote, "Well, I'm the mother of the groom. My opinion counts." Or, "I can make decisions too. I'm the mother of the groom and we're helping pay for this wedding." My parents paid for 70% of the wedding. My in-laws paid for the photographer and the rehearsal dinner. The photographer was their friend and only charged them $800 for the whole night. And the rehearsal cost $300 because they chose the cheapest option for everything possible. So, I know a lot of stories include bridezillas, but I have to say, I don't think this was that unreasonable of a request, and I do not think OP's being a bridezilla here, so I have to say not the a-hole, but let's read a comment. I can't stand over-controlling weddings like this because of reasons like this, but it does sound like she did it on purpose to annoy you, so not the a-hole. I agree, I hate bridezillas, but not the a-hole because I don't think that she did this on purpose just to annoy you. Guys, let me know what you thought about this video. Comment section below. Have a wonderful day, and remember, it's cool to be kind.